happens at Team Liquid sometimes.
Oh,
where
yeah,
he will play through the night. He will start at about midnight, and he will sleep in between his queue times because, as you know, dynamic queue is not very friendly for queue times. So he will just fall asleep on an air mattress with his headphones on and then just pass out in between and then wake up when that big noise happens when your queue pops. And he does that until about 10 in the morning and then goes straight into scrims.
It's not very healthy.
Nope, man's dedicated though. Definitely not healthy. But bans coming out. Rise still going to get a ban here from SK Telecom. And Varus, of course, they just don't want that one in the hands of Crown. The Azir will make it back, as does the Sivir. So Samsung looking like they're going to play the same bans that they had in the first game.
Not going to be mixing it up too much, it would appear, but they won't be getting their hands on the Rise this game. We will see a bit of adaptation here from SKT, and they're going to take away the Kindred and look to first pick either Graves or Nidalee. So Samsung has to leave Graves and Nidalee up right now if they don't want that to be their fate, but that means Poppy might get through.
Yep, I was about to say that. Poppy was banned.
Or Corki.
Last ban by both teams when they played the blue side, so this is a very important final ban here from the side of Samsung. What do they try to prioritize? Because it will be the Corki, so the Nidalee could come through. But it looks like SKT with Blank just getting MVP on that Graves are going to first pick it for him.
I definitely did not expect them to first pick the Graves when the Nidalee was still available. Now, Samsung has to be careful. They take the Alistar and the Poppy, but Blank can take the Nidalee here, and then they can flex the Graves into a lane. So they can't. I don't know about the Poppy and the Alistar together. There's still a danger that Ambition gets stuck on something like Gragas, which isn't necessarily a death sentence for the team. He did win a Gragas game against Jinair recently, but
he does like farming too.
He's responsible for so much of his team's damage output that you really do hurt Samsung when he's not on something that can farm quickly and then come in and deal a lot of damage in team fights.
Yep. Will just be the Trundle and Lucian pickup here. Not surprising. You see that Poppy come through. They just want to snatch that one up. Could be in the top side for Duke. More than likely going to be Wolf on support with the Trundle, but we have yet to see.
Yeah. Trundle really is not flexed in Korea into the top lane anymore. We've seen a
very rarely.
Very rarely these days.
It's like Lulu.
It is like Lulu.
Pretty much always in the mid. Unless you're Spenu.
Unless you're Spenu, and then you put it at the top with a super fast rise.
Speaking
Lulu,
of,
Lulu could be taken here. Lulu Ash would be a very odd combination. So I think we go back to the Lucian. Just do Lulu Lucian again.
Well, the Lucian's already been taken.
Oh, Lucian has already been taken. You're right. So have to figure out.
So
something
now
else.
what do you do, Matzi?
Well, I don't think Samsung knows either. They're going to lock in the Gragas, not even going for the Nidalee here. This is going to be a very rare game where Nidalee is neither picked nor banned.
Yeah, really odd. Like you said, could still see the Graves flexed, but
No, you're not going to do that now.
I don't see that happen.
Yeah, you're not going to do it now that you know they're not going to pick the Nidalee, and it's not going to be a top lane Gragas, obviously, with the Poppy there.
Please just lock me in Moo Moo. Give me a top lane of Moo Moo. Wow, Karma coming through.
All right, so they're setting up for a poke composition. This will be Faker in the mid lane with the Karma. And Karma, very lane dominant early. You have to be careful with her.
Yep, and Echo just going to come straight back out for Duke as well.
And the problem that we're seeing here from SK Telecom is that they don't have the highest damage composition. And Karma does fall off in the late game, but still going to be able to provide those shields for Bang's Lucian or for Blank's Graves in this game. So pulling out something just a little bit different. But we're going to see, I think, more Karma in the mid lane as teams start to play more on 6.6.
Yep.
It's definitely not a bad champion right now.
Yeah, she's solid. Really has been solid for a while, just not finding any priority.
I mean, you get the bigger shields now. Yep. That's going to be a really important factor. Not only are the base shields bigger on her E, but the ability power was doubled. So she scales a lot better than she used to as a 80 carry protection tool.
Yep.
So for teams like SK Telecom that like to play these protect the double 80 carry compositions, it's been their MO all season long. This is a perfect pick. Ash.
Ash, the final pick here for the side of Samsung. You were saying before that you're not sure about the Lulu Ashe composition.
I definitely am not. Lulu Poppy, obviously very good for diving turrets, so what this is mostly going to be is a pick composition. But Samsung is going to lack so much damage in the late game, because the typical way to build Ashe right now is Essence Reaver, so you get some of that cooldown reduction into Hurricane, so you're basically just a CC bot, but that's useful when you have like a high damage jungler or a carry top laner. Samsung doesn't have that. Instead, this is basically just about diving turrets with the Ashe Arrow, with the Poppy Heroic Charge sped up by a Whimsy, and trying to fight 5v4 with double teleports. But late game team fighting, Samsung will not be able to carve through the likes of SKT, especially with these new big shields coming through from the Karma.
Definitely be interesting to watch. Ambition, of course, going to want to farm up with that Gragas. It's going to stop him from getting that early pressure out of the jungle. But here we go, Game 3, SK Telecom versus Samsung. Let's see who comes out on top.
Mother Nature, everybody wants to lose.
Alrighty, a lot on the line at the moment here for Samsung. Not able to find a 2-0 after a very dominant game over SKT. SKT firing back, looking really strong. And this is going to be one uphill battle for Samsung now in Game 3. If they could net this win, it'd be pretty damn solid for them to make it into playoffs. Oh, we'll already have some action. Cortez stuck in the wall. Already has the flash bang. Getting some really good aggression on Wraith as well. Taking a lot, and that is a terrible way to kick things off if you're Samsung.
Yeah, Faker, this is going to be his second professional game on Karma. He's 0-1, one of his very few champions that he has a 0% win rate with, so perhaps he can fix that in this third game.
Give it a 50-50.
The old 50%, but yes. Champions that Faker has a 0% win rate on historically are Soraka, Talon, Karma, Lux, Quinn, and he's only played any of these champions one game.
Yeah. Not really the ones that we see too much. We did see Lux for a while at the beginning of the season. It was really prioritized across all regions, but not one that he really tried his hand out. Talon still has yet to be seen in much competitive play.
Fun Faker fact, if he has played 2 games on a champion, he does not have a 0% win rate. So he only needs 2 games to be the first champion to have played 2 games with and maintain a 0% win rate. Otherwise, he's got at least 50.
We'll see if Samsung are able to stop that that solid win rate that he's had for most of his champions. We did see him lose his first Zed game, and I think it was a 10 total competitive Zed games.
Yes.
He was 9-0, then lost one.
Against the Rocks Tigers.
Yep. Which is pretty much the team that you would expect to have that record rooted against.
Yeah, pretty much. Another interesting Faker fact while we're waiting for things to happen in this game, Achilles, if he has played more than 1 game on a champion, he only has a losing record on 2 champions, which is Ziggs, which is 1-2 on, and of course his infamous Xerath from last year, which he has 2-5 on. And he's a really bad Xerath player. Yeah. He tried, he's like, wow, GBM, that looks easy. No, it was not.
No, it is not. Yeah, Xerath and Ziggs, the siege mid laners,
Yep.
they sense fast.
Not his jam, that's for sure.
Yeah, certainly not. Oh, Wraith though spots Wolf and Blank as they move into the jungle. Ambition will stay safe as the blue buff has already been taken for himself, so not going to get delayed too much. That will allow Ambition to get a little bit faster clear against Blank, which is rather impressive for a Gragas going up against the Graves.
Going to be at least a nice early lead here. Standard lanes this time around, so or hurting a little bit in this matchup. Obviously, the champion like Ashe with no inherent mobility skills, you are going to suffer against Trundle, as we saw when He had to use that flash right at level 1. Easy to single you out and open you up to a lot of Lucian burst.
Yeah.
I'm really worried about Samsung, but you know what, Achilles? I was worried about them in Game 1, where they had to play a very execution-heavy composition. They really came through with it. Wraith had a great game on the Bard to make it work, and this time around they're going to be playing a composition that revolves around tower diving with 2 TPs, with all the speed boosts, with the, of course, the Alistar and the Ashe and the Poppy just able to get right in there. Same thing with the Gragas. So, but they've got to dive turrets. That's their win condition here, is to get an overwhelming gold lead, because team fighting in the late game, not an option.
Yeah.
Not an option against what SKT is bringing to bear.
Yep, which is why that pick composition just has to get going. Where they have to at least have some pretty dominant vision control to be able to find people out away from their team. You know, take them down and then to get objective off of that.
I really like that SK Telecom has now identified this buffed Karma as a Lulu substitute for their protect the double AD compositions they like to run. Because when we came in and they started just mass banning Faker's champions today, he went to that Jace.
Wasn't very good.
Nope, sure wasn't. But he's back on a champion where he can provide utility for Blank and Bang.
Yeah.
And when he was on the Lysandra in game number 2, he showed that that's been really the core identity of SK Telecom's playstyle this season. Did a great job of creating those zones for them, and now he's on another champion where he's just providing a lot of utility.
Yep. Looks like a minor technical difficulty here on the side of SK Telecom, so just pause coming through as they work to alleviate the problem. But so far, standard lanes, nothing flashy coming out here. No early Alistar aggression. Of course, we did see that very early flash there by Core JJ. Yet to be punished, though. We haven't seen any kind of roam to that bot side to try to catch Core JJ out.
Well, you're not going to die this early. They don't have the crowd control for it, really, or the tankiness inherent in the jungler. So, you know, it's just going to be SK Telecom. They'll be happy to play towards the late game here. They'll be happy to try and kite this out. It really is on Samsung after everybody hits 6 and they can start opening up the teleports for use across the map, that the moment of truth is really going to come. And it's whether they can find those opportunities and how well SK Telecom can play defensively against them. They do have some pretty difficult champions to tower dive in Echo, Karma, and Trundle.
Yeah. Yeah, diving in Echo sounds like a very bad idea.
Yeah.
I don't know how well that one would turn out for you.
Do you like to get mass stunned?
Even if he doesn't stun you somehow, he at least gets that big shield off of the parallel convergence. So that's just a really rough one. Probably have to wait for him to use the parallel convergence, then go in for it.
Trundle, too, because he'll just ult you and make you more vulnerable and then lock you in there with the pillar. So it's rough. It's going to be definitely challenging for Samsung. They've got to find a way to make it work. Their composition is high utility, low damage.
I wish that we would see, at least maybe not if Faker not playing the Echo, I would at least love to be able to see a more aggressive Echo build, but of course on the top side, it's just really not going to happen. We're going to get, the most aggressive we're going to get is the Frozen Fist. I would love to see a full AP Echo, however. I think that'd be a treat. But, speak of the devil, Core JJ going to get aggressed on, no flash available, smoke bomb to slow up and deny him the vision. Nice double pulverize there by Wraith. Isn't going to be enough. Core JJ jukes around the Q, trying to get out the flash forward. Can they confirm it? They do. The last auto attack from Bang. Now Crown arriving, already quite low with no mana. Going to have to go on the run, but can he get out? It doesn't look likely. Headbutt into the tower. Blank going to go down, cannot get the kill, however. Wraith going to come up with that one. And now Ambition getting locked up here by Faker. Looks like it's just going to be a 1-for-1 trade overall.
Wow, I have no idea how Crown actually managed to survive in that situation. Definitely had the health bot ticking.
He might have had enough mana to get a shield, perhaps, but it would have been by like single-digit mana regenning for him.
Yeah, that was quite close. Blank couldn't actually finish off the auto attack, so it is a 1-for-1 trade at the end. Faker comes down with no mana, so can't actually follow up. Great flash here, by the way, from Wraith, just to get the double knock-up as they try to all in. As soon as his exhaust is down, they do pursue Core JJ underneath the turret. Flash comes through and does manage to double tap the Ashe. Now Crown also coming down. Now how does he live? He has the potion ticking. Blank gets punted back under.
Flashes away, yeah.
Wraith played that really well. And he was just hiding on the other side of the turret, so he couldn't actually get the attacks through right there.
Yep. Solid play by Crown, but even more solid play by Wraith. Really the hero of that.
No, Wraith played that super well.
Yeah, he was the hero of that bottom exchange. But still unfortunate for Samsung losing the first blood. Bang picks up the kill. Wraith gets the one on their side.
Yeah, 2 TPs, both from the mid lane, go down. Faker, like I said, a little bit late right there, but he didn't have the mana to really contribute to that anyway.
Yep.
And it looked like it was just going to be a 1 for none until Wraith made the play to headbutt Graves underneath that turret.
And look at this now, coming back into the spot side. Bang, BF Sword call to the Caulfield's Warhammer for Core JJ. That is going to be a really hard time.
Brutal. Yeah, that's going to be rough. And Core will have some trouble, obviously, in the trades right here. They have to be hyper conscientious about upcoming dive opportunities for SK Telecom. But SKT, they have a lot of ways to get caught out if they do overextend. But now with the TPs down, there's going to be less possible punishment for Samsung. That's right, as everyone's going to hit 6-2. So it's a nice window here for SKT just to play aggressively and in the bottom side without being punished for it until Crown and Cuvée have their TPs back up, because you need those to follow up on the Ashe arrow.
Yep.
Ashe just doesn't have the damage to actually pick off a kill right now by herself.
Yep. Maybe if they just sit there for like 30 straight seconds and don't do anything, or JJ can actually pick up a kill. But the likelihood of that is very slim. I like that we're seeing completely mirrored builds in this mid laner so far. It's going to be going for the spooky ghosts, both rocking the Damp Tome as well.
Pretty common builds on both these champions. Just gives you that extra vision on the map, able to kind of suss out where people are moving to, or where the enemy jungler is at times from that mid lane. Very nice tool to have. And also no team fights, just play utility champions, giving you even more utility.
Yep. Oh.
Yep, Montric Q does quite a bit.
Yep. Follow-up doesn't connect, but still a good amount. God, the slow if Faker builds a Rylai's Crystal Scepter for that.
Yes, it's going to be intense.
That would be really,
All right,
really
they're
rough.
trying to set up around the level 6 Ashe right now.
They are spotted, however.
They are definitely spotted.
Yep, there was a ward in the brush. Just south of that. Oh, actually, Wolf going to get hit up by the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Cask going to throw him into the wall, but the TP is coming through here. It's going to be Duke trying to join the team, but I think Cuvée interrupted that one. Core JJ has to flash away, though. Heal's still available, but Wraith going to be the one getting engaged on. Holds on to his flash, doesn't use it, and now Faker roaming around the backside. They have that ward in the brush. They do spot him. So no other kills going to come out of that one. But
Cuvée
still,
must
nice
have
pickup.
just
I think he
heroic
charged him.
Yeah, that must have been it, because he didn't have it, or he didn't use his ultimate right there. Now we're going to see the TP coming in from Cuvée. But look at that, just the timing window that they had right there. Duke had his TP up, but neither Crown nor Cuvée did. They were still in the last phases of their cooldown. And they turned that one around with the knowledge they had of the incoming gank. Blank got the red buff, and then moseyed on down into the bottom lane to turn that into a counter gank. And you know, this is now just a disaster. For
Stop the
Samsung.
back. They're just going to go straight on the Core JJ
Why?
yet again.
Is he there?
I really don't know. As the saying goes, you can't take the NA out of Core JJ.
is that how the saying goes? Well, he definitely shouldn't have stuck around for that. The dive possibility was still extremely real, as we saw. And the big problem with Core JJ dying is that he is the only scaling damage on this team, really.
Yep.
They need him to get items to do anything at all, because Lulu is going to fall off the later this game goes on, and him being behind is an enormous issue for Samsung's ability to. I mean, they can't team fight anyway with this composition against what SKT has, but even create picks. Like, they have to have damage to actually kill somebody when the arrow goes in.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where that's coming from now, because it's not Core.
And speaking of killing somebody, Bang,
QSS.
making sure that does not happen. QSS first item technically, because he doesn't have any completions.
Why not? I mean, you're going to be even with the Ashe in terms of damage already, and
now
you just take away her ultimate. You're like, all right, what you going to do now?
He was already so far ahead because he got the call by.
Yeah,
it's
over.
This is yeah.
It's over for Samsung. unless
Yeah.
SK Telecom makes some really tremendous errors Samsung's window of opportunity for using these teleports effectively and for making these dives or making these picks, they've fallen too far behind at this laning phase.
Yep.
I like what Bang did. I think it's really smart for him to get the QSS immediately.
Oh yeah, really good. It's just bad decision making by, I was gonna say Sam, it was really just core JJ sticking around in that bot lane. Not sure what he was thinking.
Well, also they overcommitted to a gank when they didn't know that they were actually seen right there.
Yeah. They should have had some idea that they had gotten spotted. Taking a bit of damage as Blank starts pitching from the top. It's going to clear out those wards. And
that's basically all you can do with that arrow now.
Cruising on by.
Like at this point, Core just actually has to hope for like a miracle shot.
Yeah, just arrow
into
bot.
the mid lane or the top lane.
Oh. Baker going forward, tries to get through down to the crown. Big slow. That wasn't even a mantra Q. Throws out the wild growth to keep himself alive.
Whoa.
Cask does hit Faker.
Got a shield on himself
shield
there.
Up. Yep. It's out of mana. We'll have to back off. Crown should be able to stick around for a little bit as the potions finish chugging here.
Crown was dead, but he was actually saved by the wild growth, able to get out of there without even using his flash. So fights off the pressure there, at least momentarily. Faker gets some time to recall, however, is going to be going for those cooldown boots. So more utility. And once SK Telecom starts grouping at 20 minutes or so, this is going to be very difficult for Samsung to deal with.
Yep, now we see SKT just making the next move here objectively. Go ahead and pick up this first dragon in about 13.5 minutes. So they get that buff, and that's something that Samsung very much would have liked and kind of would have needed to help them get back into this game.
Well, I look forward to seeing more of Crown's Hail Mary arrows. Once he
Core JJ's.
Yeah, Core JJ's Hail Mary arrows once he gets that ability off the cooldown.
It only takes one good arrow to turn the tide. That probably takes many more than
that.
Nope,
definitely is going to take a lot more than that.
Yep. Mission trying to take away that blue buff. Not going to be able to get it though. Collateral damage gets used by Blank in conjunction with the smite, and he does take it out. Crown probably wants to go back soon, as Faker is just layering on the damage. And this is just unfortunate for Ambition, not able to find any real openings so far as this Gragas to try to turn things around for his team.
And now, may the invades begin.
Yep. Still moving for this blue buff. This would be the second blue buff taken away from Ambition.
Unfortunate recall time for Crown right there.
Yeah, very. I mean, he was extremely low. Throws out the cask. He will get it with the smite, so Ambition does save his blue buff. But of course, it's going to be 1 to 9 away from the Lulu. But in the end, no mid laner gets their blue.
Well, back to standard lanes for the time being. Yep. Burden is definitely on Samsung to make
arrows
some
available.
Huge play.
Crown getting engaged on, has to use the wild growth already. Trade pretty decently on damage. And Bang, meanwhile.
These towers are just getting chipped away though by SKT. Ever so slowly. Oh, and here we go.
And will it connect to Faker? Ooh, possibly. He's lined up. Nope, never mind. Doesn't matter. Never mind.
You got so excited.
You know, I thought maybe.
I mean, he has flash.
That's true. Yeah, it's not like a Malphite ultimate. You have plenty of time to avoid that thing. Crab goes in, stops the back for Faker, but it's not going to do a whole lot for him.
Yeah, this is just getting sad now.
Yep. I was looking forward to a really good brawlish game 3, and it's really just Samsung making poor choices. Faker, look at that damage. That's just all she wrote.
Yeah, Karma's pretty good in the early phases of the game. No doubt about that one.
Yep, and if they keep playing like this, it might as well be the early phases of the game for SKT, because they're just leaps and bounds ahead of Samsung. So the Karma damage is not going to wane anytime soon. I want to see that. I want to see that Mantra Q hit core JJ, because it's just going to destroy him.
Yeah.
Ah well.
Ah well, indeed.
I'd love to see a fair game, but it's like SKT are just going to stomp this one out very much as they did in Game 2. And here I was trying to remain unbiased about it.
It's tough remaining unbiased.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was talking to Papa about this. We have SKT versus KT coming up. My internet versus my phone provider. And now it's Samsung. I have a Galaxy S7, and it's on SK Telecom. So I'm trying to be unbiased here.
You're doing a great job, man.
Yep.
Supporting all of esports indirectly.
I do what I can to give back. I am a charitable man.
Did you know that? Because in Brood War I was a big KT fan, and so I actually. When SKT lost to KT in the finals, I switched my phone provider to SKT because I lost a bet with Toa.
That's pretty funny.
That was a long time ago, though.
Losing. See, never. I just don't make bets. It's as easy as that. I just don't make bets. Like the guy who's.
I'm gonna get you to make a bet with me at some point.
All right. Like the guy who had to eat a sock.
Like that was a terrible bet.
I don't know why you would ever make that bet, but I just don't make those types of bets.
I felt really good about that, though.
Yep. Crown taking a lot of damage, has to use the wild growth. TP coming through here. Arrow once again just not going to go anywhere near the enemy. And this looks like a fight that SKT can very handily win. Bay takes a bit of damage. Ambition goes back in for the body slam, trying to clear out those waves.
Forcing the TP out again. I mean,
yeah.
Crown also had to fade down to that bottom side just to save the tier 2. That means more damage, just a little bit on the mid.
Yep.
But it's Samsung just getting run around the map right now by SK Telecom. Duke now even threatening their red buff. Ambition will come in and defend it, but SKT trying to take advantage of every opportunity presented to them.
Yep, Samsung just losing across all fronts. I think this is why like I said, I don't make bets. I thought about making one on Twitter about Morocco's Tigers losing to Africa. Like if they did, I would do something, but it's just not even worth that risk.
Oh, I think the Africa can absolutely beat the Rocks Tigers.
Exactly, I thought about it.
Rocks has nothing on the line right now. You never bet. You never make bets with people or on things where they have nothing on the line. When you have nothing to lose, that is the worst time to make bets.
Yeah. Now, one of my favorite bet loss stories. This will segue into a story that I tried to tell yesterday. Papa shut me down. Was Steve Jaws at Riot?
I do, yeah.
He was the former head of Collegiate. I was at PAX East a couple of years ago, and I got to go on stage and play Earth mode. Sorry, everybody, for Earth mode. I got to play Earth mode. I'm going to tell the story, actually, because the TP's coming through. Faker coming around the backside. Poor JJ's probably just going to disappear. Nope. Does use the flash to get away from that Mantra Q. Looks like this could just be a disengage from Samsung. No one really getting caught, but SKT posturing forward and Bang already starting up the dragon.
All right, back to your story.
So anyway,
you're playing Earth mode.
So I got to play Earth mode on stage. It was all viewers versus rioters playing Earth, and I played Jace and just absolutely crushed. And here I didn't realize Jaws made a bet against one other rioter that if the rioters lost, Ambition's gonna die. Oh, maybe not. Yeah, body slams away. He'll keep himself alive. Keeper's verdict is there. Now Wraith maybe gonna die. Has Flash Crown taking a lot of damage. Uses the wild growth to keep himself alive. It looks like we're just gonna be pedaling back and forth here in this mid lane.
I was so close to being exciting.
I was so close to telling my story.
So what was the bet he made?
So he bet that if the rioters lost, he would shave his head. And then the guy said, okay, fine, if the rioters win, I'll shave my beard. And this guy, I think his name was Caged, was his handle that he uses at Riot. He's like a game dev, has this massive, massive beard. And here I played Jace, with 16-0 and something. Blind stole Baron and Dragon against them. Carried my team to victory, and then Jaws had to shave his head. I didn't know this bet happened, so at the end of the game, Jaws is like, who played Jace? And I raised my hand, he's like, I hate you. And I was just like, okay, it was just friendly banter, and here he actually had to go and shave his head. So the next time I saw him later that night at the bar, his hair was gone. I was like, what happened? Like, genuinely asking, like, why'd you shave your head? He's like, are you kidding me? I was like, I had no idea that this even occurred.
You should take more bets than Achilles. You seem to do well.
I'll take a bet when I'm playing Jace. That's a bet that I'm willing to make. I say that, and actually my solo queue record for Jace is pretty terrible at the moment.
Well, we just ignored that entire replay because nothing happened today.
Yeah,
There's a lot of disengaging and flashing around with Wild Growth and breaking of
Is he
Faker's
gonna die?
tether.
Nope, he's not gonna die. Okay.
Flash. Yep.
Good trade.
Great trade.
Tower doesn't even fall.
LCK Telecom still handily in the lead in this one.
Oh, ambition. Body slams to safety. Miller not going to be able to lock him. This is just rough stuff by Samsung.
Well, this is what happens when you... they pulled off the execution in game number 1. There's the Mantra W.
And another whipped arrow.
The Mantra W is just so good for SK Telecom's playstyle right now because Lulu can only shield one person. But if you Mantra W, you get half the shield on everybody else at the same time, and everybody gets movement speed. So you get both your 80 carries there zooming around, protected at the same time.
It's like a better Silver Ultimate.
It is, but short.
Yeah, much shorter, but still a pretty massive shield for everybody. With just as much of a movement speed increase. Or at least close to it. Mission gonna try to make something happen, throws at the cast. Not really gonna be able to find anybody, but Wraith does. Headbutts Wolf in. He's gonna have to flash out from underneath of that tower. Meanwhile, here comes Kube on the backside. This could be the fight that Samsung has been looking for. Can't really find a target though. Goes out the Keeper's Verdict, knocks away 3 members.
You're getting far too excited, Achilles.
Yeah.
Samsung has no damage. They
This is
actually
very true.
can't kill anybody.
I was about to go straight into knocks away 3 members, but then no one dies. There's going to be the follow-up there, parallel convergence, and the turret goes down. So
They have no
SKT at least able to pick up another objective here.
I mean, Crown doesn't even have a damage item yet. He has Frost Queen's Claim, and he's trying to get his Lich Bane done, but Faker already has a death cap. Finally, we see, of course, the Essence Reaper complete for Bang, and he's moving into what is either going to be a Static Shiv or a Rapid Fire Cannon. Static Shiv it is.
Static Shiv it is. And poor JJ is just poor JJ. Doesn't have hardly any items, just the Essence Reaper.
He's gonna get that Hurricane, so
oh yeah.
he can deal no damage to anybody.
We saw how well that worked out for Stitch in last game when he got Hurricane finally.
Well, a bit late, but same thing of Core here, having a very rough time. Duke is going to TP behind him.
Oh boy.
Just smack him right in the ash.
Dat Ash. Mission though, going to be the one getting jumped on, has to use the cask to get away. Still has flash available though.
Yeah, they didn't have actually the setup there to
That was
TP
poor,
in.
Yeah, poor TPs, but I mean at this point, it's not going to harm them too much to just use it.
Well, they do have a TP disadvantage now, so Crown could theoretically split push with that Lich Bane and maybe pick up a tower or two, especially because the tier 1s are still up. But yes, with a 8,000 gold lead, the rewards will be minor at best.
I don't really think he can split against anybody on SK Telecom right now.
Well, he could against Duke, probably. There is no MR on Duke, except for that one cowl, so he might be able to do okay.
Possibly.
But it would be, I agree, it would be quite the challenge. And now, our thoughts turn to Dreams of Baron, where SK Telecom is.
I'm just thinking about the next match.
Are you?
Yeah.
It's going to be exciting. I'm actually really looking forward to it because, like I was saying, Africa and Rocks actually have the best early games and very violent early games. They are the 2 teams at the top of the league in terms of gold differential at 15 minutes, in terms of first blood rate.
Okay. Getting engaged on by Duke. This is going to be Wraith and Ambition coming around the sidelines, but he gets that movement speed increase. Of course, just got buffed, so Duke can just zip his way to safety.
I don't think he's very concerned.
Yeah, not at all. Still has parallel convergence and flash. Oh my god.
Yeah, you know what's going to make it even worse is that Void Staff that he's getting.
Yeah, what little base MR you have for JJ will be gone.
I like how he's going for Void Staff in this game, even though, I mean, realistically, Faker should just be focusing on providing utility for his team, which obviously doesn't need that Void Staff.
At this point, it just doesn't even matter, though.
I think his primary job should be monitoring his W, as opposed to trying to poke out with that monitored Q, but whatever.
I'm just waiting for Core JJ to land another arrow. I think he's 1 for 5 so far.
Well, to be fair to him, he actually could not arrow anybody in his lane. So that makes it a little bit harder. When
He got Wolf once.
Yeah, but he can't. He couldn't go after Bang, because Bang got the QSS pretty much right after he hit level 6. He had that one shot. Didn't manage to make it work, and then the gank was turned around on him, and then there was QSS to deal with.
Yep. One shot. Missed his chance and blew his opportunity.
That's right. Well,
Once in a lifetime.
It was.
Mom's spaghetti.
I know where you're going with this.
Well, SKT, I think they could just take this. I think you just do it. You have almost a 9,000 gold lead.
Yeah, and it doesn't really matter if they shoot an arrow in the pit.
Yeah, I just feel Soul probably miss all 5 of them in a tight-knit area, and somehow the arrow will cruise straight through all of them.
They got the shields and stuff too, or Bang could just voluntarily take it and cleanse it away.
You know what's going to happen? This core JJ is going to line up the shot of all shots, and then the arrow is going to breeze through because Cuve uses the Keeper's Verdict, and it just pops him in the air, so the arrow's just going to fly straight underneath of him. It's going to come on.
Or
I had it.
I want to see Ambition throw a cask in so the arrow misses.
Yeah, there you go. Just knocks them all to the side. It's very possible.
I feel bad for Core this game. There's just nothing he could do. And
Yeah.
This team composition they drafted.
I just don't like
If you fall behind with it, it's just devastating.
Yeah.
So it's not. Did they play some of the early game poorly? Yes, but they actually just didn't have a chance to win the game after that because of the way that they drafted. You have to be on the offensive with this team composition. There's no way to play from behind.
It's just rough. I mean, if I would core JJ and Wraith, I expect going into a 2v2 against Bang and Wolf to be behind. Then again, I'm just a pessimist.
I think you're a pessimist.
Very pessimist or a realist. Which
no,
one?
no, because you can be behind in the laning phase as long as there are opportunities for you to TP, right? Because
Sure.
if they're overextending and you're farming under your turret and you land an arrow and a TP comes in, then you can do well with this. So there are opportunities. Unfortunately, the TPs were forced out by SKT, so they could never be used optimally around the arrow.
Yeah.
And then the kills came in for SKT, and they came in on the right target with poor JJ, forcing him even further behind, and then the QSS.
He also just stuck around at that bottom turret for not much of a reason.
That's also true. He did do that.
No.
I'm surprised SK Telecom not more aggressively posturing on this Baron right now.
Yeah,
they're very conservatively, but again, this is such an important match that being silly and throwing at a Baron would be a major problem for them, because this one game could be the difference between them taking second place or third place at the end of the regular season.
One less game to play in the gauntlet would be quite desirable.
One less best of 5.
Yeah.
And because everything happens so quickly
Oh, here we go.
in the gauntlet too, it all happens in
Never
the
mind.
space of 1 week. So you don't have time to prep or really devise a lot of diverse strategies for your upcoming opponent. It really does reward the higher ranked teams.
Yep. Oh, Wraith though, gonna get engaged on, immediately pops that Alistar ultimate. Will be able to wander his way to safety. Meanwhile, the rest of SKT just meanders their way up to this top side of this tier 2 tower. Ambition probably gonna have to throw out this explosive cast if they want to hold on to it. Bang doing a lot of damage. An arrow connects. Against Wolf though, he gets booted in underneath the turret. It should fall. Look at that damage coming through onto Samsung though. Flashes coming out from both sides. Ground already having to use the wild growth. For JJ, looking like he might go down. The TP going to be completed here by Duke. Ube arriving in the backside though, gets denied on his dash by that pillar. Wraith finds Duke. It does finish off Bang, but so far it's just a 1-for-1 AD from mid. And SKT will still take down the tier 2.
Well, I'm actually surprised they managed to finish off Bang right there. He was low from poking through and from dashing through when that turret was still up. Not the cleanest dive there from SK Telecom. They got a little bit split up in their focus. Some people staying back to get the tower, some people trying to move on through the turret. And so they actually do end up with a 1-for-1 trade in spite of their massive advantage in this game.
Yep, but finally making some moves, picking up those objectives. We were just talking about how they're playing very conservatively, so nice to see them actually come back in for some.
Oh, play.
Yeah, early smite takes it down to 21. Might actually pay for this with his life. Or JJ is here, does have the arrow available before JJ might go down. Actually, flash over by Blake. And look at that. They just managed to take him down. Now it's just Duke and Ambition.
Yeah, that's Steric's Gauge doing its job right there, giving him just enough time to take out Core. And now the TP's coming through onto this bottom side. Faker just wants to keep on pushing right now. Spooky Ghosts go out.
Yep, Ambition having a body slam through the pillar. Give himself the safety. Faker's just going to shield himself up and try to finish off that turret. One more hit would have got it, but does not in the end.
Big risk on Ardent Sensor.
That was about, yeah, interesting.
Well, gives great sustain. Really does help out his 80 carries too. So that's actually a really good item on Karma, surprisingly.
Why not? And here we can see Dragon spawning. This will be the fourth for SK Telecom. Don't think they need the fifth Dragon. Could just still play delayed. Go for that in 38.5 minutes, should they so choose, but make these dives that much easier with that 20% reduction.
Well, I really like that Ardent Sensor pickup fourth. That's considering you just proc
got a lot of utility
you
now.
proc it across everybody with your Mantra W, so
This was
it's really good.
By Blank.
Yeah, and you see the Steric's Gauge is doing its work right there. Gets a shield there coming through as well, and that buys him enough time to finish off that kill.
Also just a crucial parallel convergence by Duke, keeping Ambition locked up so he couldn't finish off Blank in time for poor JJ to make it out alive. You can see the Lord Dominic's regards completed for Bang. Just the last whisper for Core JJ and another BF sword, so finally going to be looking for that Infinity Edge, I believe. Could go for the Bloodthirster for increased survivability. Not sure what he wants, but I think with Ash he wants that Infinity Edge.
Yeah, he needs it, but he already had to go for the last whisper because of the tankiness of that front line. It's like, it's still looking low on the damage. It's not going to be hitting any big numbers when it comes to damage anytime soon.
Yeah, just one MR item from Duke, and he's going to be perfectly fine with that because Crown is the only AP damage outside of Ambition, who's not going to be doing a whole hell of a lot.
Yeah. So, it's interesting, the Ardent Sensor build, giving that attack speed over. And also, you know, it provides more mobility for Faker himself to just find those opportunities to poke on the front line. It gives him more movement speed even when he's in his own W without using the mantra. So, it's a fascinating buy, but certainly excellent for Karma and excellent in these double AD carry compositions.
Now Bang almost done his complete build. Not sure how much gold he has. It should be a good amount though. So he can complete, it's 400, okay. So, has a ways to go before he finishes the Imperial Scimitar. But he's still going to be doing a hell of a lot of damage.
Well,
I don't know, just
just waiting for the Baron.
methodical game here from SK Telecom. Not looking to make too many risky
Well,
plays.
I mean, they're sitting on Dragon number 5 right now.
Yep. Oh, wow. That's sitting on a hell of a lot of damage. Ambition, despite how tanky he is, gets knocked down to about half HP.
So, clear out the vision. Try and get a pick. SK Telecom using that Trundle Pillar. Oh, gonna block off Core, but nobody there to follow up on the damage.
Wraith's there to help body block. See though, Bang's pushing in, putting some solid damage down onto this tower. Wraith already using the headbutt. Not gonna be able to follow with any kind of pulverize though.
Back to Baron, everybody.
All right, retreat. Duke's going on the recall. They might be looking for a TP play now.
Why not? QV also maybe looking for a TP play. Oh, oops. Bang, face plants into the wall.
We've seen that happen a couple times. The Italy not making it over from Blank in game 1. Oh, here we go though. TP's coming in from Kuve from the bot lane. Chris Lero does land onto Blank. Not sure if he's going to be doing too much, however. Baron trying to layer down some damage. Bang and Duke on the backside. Maybe going to pinch in from above. Mission taking a bit as well. Looks like they're going straight on the ground. Has to use the wild growth. Meanwhile, poor JJ just getting hounded by Blank and Wolf. He's going to fall to the graves. Bang on the chase here. Gets slowed up by that barrel. Nice flash forward though. And Bang will be able to confirm the kill onto Ambition. And this is just Samsung falling apart across the board. Faker coming in, gets that big shield. And Sustain coming out. Kube just
He's so fast.
can't do a damn thing. And Faker's just zipping around, playing, dashing around as well. That's going to be the ace. That's going to be the game. Coming in here for SK Telecom. 36.5 minutes to ace the team. But with this last final push, we'll take down the Nexus and we'll make Samsung's hopes of making it into playoffs a little bit less likely.
Yeah, I think you really have to question their draft in this final game. Yes, there are win conditions, but they're difficult to achieve and not very possible if you start to lose control of the tempo of the game. And that means SK Telecom going to roll to a win with the mid Karma. Good stuff.
Good stuff indeed. Maybe a champion that we'll get to see a bit more of in next week's play.
We will. She's with
Hard
the
as well.
yeah, with the nerfs to Lulu coming through, especially on the Whimsy, which is one of the main attractive features of running and protect the AD carry composition with mid lane Lulu. I mean, they wanted to nerf her utility, or at least her scaling off of AP, and instead they added scaling to the W of Karma. I don't really understand the logic there, but that's what it looks like.
I don't know either. I couldn't tell you, but Ambition in the end doing 89 less damage than Core JJ at the AD carry role.
Well, to be expected. I mean, nobody was doing damage on that composition at all,
Yep.
and that's what happens when you pick that composition. Sure, it would look amazing if they started diving, and they really got ahead of SK Telecom, got the TPs they were looking for. You can make that work, it's hard.
Yeah. Just weren't able to do it, and SKT looking still in form. The first game was merely a setback.
Great game from Ambition, but couldn't actually
Yeah.
finish off the series here. Tough for Samsung, but they still have a chance to get into the playoffs. Obviously, if they beat Kongdu, they can vie for that 5th place seed and try and make an entire gauntlet run. SKT does not move up into 2nd place, actually, because
Yeah.
they only got the 2-1. So
Yep.
they're still behind KT, which makes that match next week even more important.
Yep, we'll be back with your MVP and our second set of matches.